Stanza number first. O wild west wind, thou breath of autumn swing. The poet addresses the west wind. He calls west wind as the vital essence of the autumn season. Thou, from whose unseen presence the leaves dead are driven. The west wind is invisible. The dried and withered leaf feel the unseen presence of the wind. They are driven before it like ghost feelings from a magician, like a ghost from an enchanter fleeing. They are driven before it like a ghost fleeing from a magician. Yellow and black and pale and hectic red, pestilence stricken multitudes. These leaves are yellow, black, pale, and feverish red in color. They are large in number and all seem to have been afflicted with some disease. They feel so frightened at the approach of the west wind that they fly away from its presence. O thou who chariotest to their dark wintry bed, the west wind scatters the winged seeds and drives them at their dark cold beds under the earth. O thou who chariotest to their dark wintry bed the winged sheets, where they lie cold and low. The west wind scatters the winged seeds and drives them at their dark cold beds under the earth, each like a corpse within its grave. These There like dead bodies, the seeds lie in their graves, unable to move or rise until thine azure sister of the sparing shall billow her clarion over the dreaming earth and fill till spring season comes. The poet calls spring the sister of autumn and of the west wind. But while autumn is dull and gloomy, spring is marked by light breeze and blue skies. So the spring comes with its light breezes and blue skies. She blows her trumpet in order to awaken the sleeping earth. With the coming of spring, nature wakes to a new life, driving sweet words like flocks to feed in air. The poet compares the spring to a shepherd. The poet compares the spring to a shepherd, just as a shepherd takes his flock of sheep to the field in order to graze them. Similarly, the spring drives the seeds out of the birds in which they are shut into the open air. With the coming of spring, birds and flowers begin to bloom and feed in the air. Just as sheep roam about and feed in the field, in a word, the spring will fill the valleys and hills with birds and flowers which have beautiful colors and sweet smells. Will living hues and adores plain and hill will build spirit, which art moving everywhere, destroyer and preserver, here, oh here. The poet again addresses west wind. He calls it an untamed spirit because it is making itself felt all over the land. He addresses it as destroyer and preserver. It is a destroyer because by driving the rotten leaves before it, the Wind breaks them up and shatters them into small pieces, which are lost. It is a preserver because by scattering and driving the seeds to their underground beds, the wind preserves the seeds which later sprout into plants. To this west wind, which is a destroyer and preserver, the poet appeals that his words may be heard. Okay, next stanza, next video में. Thank you.